Something I didn't know when I was a new teacher is that there are seasons to this work. Not seasons like the time of year, although that definitely can come into play, but phases that are defined by joy or heartbreak or growth or dormancy. You know, sometimes when you're a teacher, it's like summer. It feels bright and freeing and exciting and fun, like when you're doing a unit with your students and both you and your students are genuinely excited about it. There's buy-in and you can go to work and it can sometimes feel effortless. You know, I was once teaching this Romeo and Juliet unit, and while we were reading, students were designing their own reenactments of the story, and then at the end, they filmed it, and they were excited about it, and I was thrilled as well, because I'm like, holy smokes, they're eager to read Shakespeare. It was like it was all clicking. I was doing it right, and I was thinking to myself, this is the good stuff of teaching. And when that unit was over, they became aware that learning can be fun, and that momentum kept going the rest of that year. It was a pretty great season of teaching. And I think this was my 6th year of my career, and I was starting to figure some things out, and I was like, yeah, this is a good season. And you know, in another season, it wasn't so good. My students were so apathetic that year. One student I cared so much about dropped out of high school the middle of the year. I made some dumb mistakes that year, so I had some serious parent issues. My school district was forcing a new technology on all of us, and it was just a struggle. And then also this same year is when my daughter was born. And while that was exciting, I was just dead exhausted every day and low on energy in the classroom, and it was challenging and taxing. This season was hard. But here's what's interesting. The good season I had, the one with the eager students, where I was more passionate about my work, where I had more energy, yeah, that was after my difficult season. The challenging one didn't last forever. It was like seasons, you know, weather changes, leaves die and fall, and eventually the weather changes again, and there's new life springing from the ground. I think we have to remember this. We need to remember that chapters begin and end. It's a wisdom we need to hold on to, because you might be in a difficult season right now. And I'm not minimizing any of that. I'm not saying, hey, you're in a tough season, but don't worry, it'll be over at some point. No, the reality is hard times are hard. But I think I can safely tell you that you won't be in that season forever, because that's the nature of teaching. That's the nature of work. That's the nature of life. There's death and rebirth, and then death and rebirth. And that's the cycle we go through. And when we know this, when we've experienced this, it helps us find joy and hope during the difficult seasons. And it helps us appreciate it even more when times are good.